Imagine, just for a moment, that you awaken not in the familiar world of roads, houses, and technology, but in a place where the air feels heavier, the ground vibrates faintly with distant footsteps, and the sounds of life are unlike anything you've ever known. In the background, you hear the low rumble of a creature that dwarfs every animal you have ever seen. You step outside from a simple shelter, perhaps no more than sticks and leaves, and what greets you is a horizon filled with giants, towering creatures, their necks reaching up into the canopy of ancient trees, pull down branches with slow, deliberate movements. The air smells of greenery, damp soil, and a faint musk that hints at life on a scale far beyond human comprehension. Take a breath, settle into your seat, and let your imagination unfold this world where humans and dinosaurs live side by side. Now, before we venture further into this incredible journey, I'd like you to feel comfortable. Adjust where you're sitting, let your body relax, and if you enjoy the idea of drifting through time and possibility with me, take a gentle moment to like this video and subscribe to History Entire. As you do, I would love for you to share in the comments the time where you are and the place you're watching from. It's always fascinating to imagine people from different corners of the modern world all imagining this ancient, impossible one together. With that, let us step softly into this imagined history. In reality, of course, humans never shared the earth with dinosaurs. The last non-avian dinosaurs disappeared about 65 million years ago, long before our earliest ancestors ever appeared. Yet the imagination allows us to bridge that vast gulf of time. What would it truly be like if humans had walked among them? Would life be unbearable, a constant struggle to survive against massive predators? Or would there be moments of harmony, where humans and these titans simply shared the same landscapes? To answer, we don't rush. Instead, we let the possibilities emerge slowly, one detail at a time, like light spreading gently across a misty valley. Picture an early human tribe living near a river. The dawn is pale and golden, and mist curls across the water. The people stir, stepping carefully out of their huts or caves, glancing toward the tree line. There, in the half-shadow, enormous shapes move. Sauropods, perhaps Apatosaurus or Brachiosaurus, drift slowly through the forest like living towers, their long tails sweeping the ground behind them. Their presence is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They mean no harm, being herbivores, but their size alone makes them dangerous. A single careless step could crush a person without effort. Yet, as our ancestors watch, there is no immediate fear, only the kind of respect and wonder that humans still feel today when faced with vast mountains or roaring oceans. Daily survival in such a world would be unlike anything we know. Fire would remain essential, not only for warmth and cooking, but also as a source of protection. Dinosaurs, sensitive to heat and movement, might keep their distance from the glow of flames. Imagine a ring of fires burning at night along the edge of a settlement, flickering lights keeping predators wary. In the background, the night is filled with sounds, the distant bellow of a hadrosaur, the echoing call of a raptor, the sudden splash of something massive entering the river. To live in this world is to never truly know silence, for nature itself breathes heavily around you. Gathering food would be a delicate task. Humans might collect fruits, nuts, and roots from forests where gentle herbivores graze, all while keeping an eye out for something more dangerous. Imagine kneeling beneath a tree to dig for tubers, when suddenly a shadow falls across you. Not a cloud, but the passing bulk of a triceratops. Its frill, ridged and decorated with faint color, glints in the filtered light. It snorts, plucking low shrubs with its beak, seemingly unconcerned by your presence. Yet, with one twitch of its head, it could send you flying. So you remain still, steady in your breathing, until the creature moves on. Only then do you return to your task, every moment a reminder that survival here requires patience and caution. Hunting would also change dramatically. In the real prehistoric past, early humans hunted deer, mammoths, and other animals within their reach. In this world, though, the balance shifts. A rabbit or bird becomes a far safer and more practical target than anything resembling a dinosaur. Small prey provides meat without the risk of awakening a predator far larger than you can imagine. But even so, curiosity would lead some to try. Perhaps a group of hunters stalks a hadrosaur calf, hoping to feed the tribe for weeks. Their spears are sharp, their coordination perfect, but the moment the calf calls out, the ground trembles. The mother arrives, towering above them, tail lashing, eyes burning with protective fury. The hunters scatter, their courage shattered by the sheer force of nature. They return empty-handed, wiser, reminded again of the fragile line they walk in this world of giants. Not every interaction would be dangerous, though. There would be moments of wonder. Imagine children watching from the safety of a hillside as a herd of stegosaurus moves slowly through a valley below. Their plates catch the sunlight, glowing faintly like shields of copper and gold. The herd grazes quietly, tails swaying gently. For the children, this is not terror, it is beauty. Just as modern humans marvel at whales breaching the ocean surface, ancient humans in this imagined world would marvel at dinosaurs crossing the land. These creatures would become the stories told around fires, the legends passed from one generation to the next, not just as threats, but as symbols of the vastness of life. Shelter would become an art of survival. Caves would be prized not only for protection from weather, but also for their concealment. A settlement in the open is far too vulnerable when predators taller than a house roam the plains. Yet caves carry their own dangers, darkness, other animals, and the constant need for fire to keep away creatures curious enough to enter. Where caves are absent, humans might take to the trees. Imagine simple wooden platforms built high above the ground, tied together with vines, swaying slightly in the breeze. From up there, one could watch the herds move across the land, the predators stalk at night, and perhaps even catch a glimpse of the stars beyond the canopy. Such shelters would not be permanent, for the forests are alive with giants, but they would offer moments of safety in a world where the ground itself is shared with monsters. Water, too, becomes a daily challenge. Rivers are essential, yet they are also dangerous. Every approach to the water's edge risks an encounter with something enormous. Imagine stepping carefully down a bank, filling a carved wooden bowl, when a shape surfaces just beyond reach, a massive aquatic reptile or perhaps a dinosaur stopping to drink. In such moments, the heart races, but the mind learns discipline. Move slowly, make no sudden gestures, respect the fact that this is their world too. And then, retreat quietly, water sloshing in your bowl, life preserved for another day. The pace of such a life is slow, deliberate, reflective. Time is not measured in minutes or hours, but in the cycles of daylight and the patterns of creature movements. A family might plan their day around the path of a herd, knowing when it is safe to venture into the open and when it is best to remain hidden. The rhythm of existence would not be human-dominated, but shared, deeply tied to the flows of the creatures around them. In this way, humans living with dinosaurs would become observers as much as participants, weaving their survival into the fabric of an ancient ecosystem. Evenings would bring both dread and peace. As the sun dips low, the sky painted with crimson and gold, the tribe gathers around fires. The crackling light pushes back the darkness, while voices rise in quiet conversation. Children huddle close, listening as elders tell stories not only of their ancestors, but also of the great beasts that surround them. A tale might describe the courage of one who stood still as a triceratops passed by, or the wisdom of those who fled rather than hunted a carnivore. These stories are not just entertainment, they are lessons, survival passed down through words. And over it all, the sounds of the night emerge, the distant roar of a predator echoing across the valley, answered by the deep rumble of another far away. Yet within the ring of firelight, there is calm. Life endures. And so, in this first glimpse of such a world, we begin to see the balance of fear and wonder. To live with dinosaurs is not constant terror, nor is it constant awe. It is a life shaped by caution, patience, and respect. Each day is a negotiation with forces far greater than yourself. Yet, in this negotiation, humans find meaning. For in facing giants, in adapting to their presence, humanity becomes something both fragile and resilient. It is in this slow unfolding, this careful observation, that the world of humans and dinosaurs begins to feel real. This is only the beginning of their journey, the first steps into a life where every moment is shared with creatures beyond imagination. And as we linger in this imagined dawn, surrounded by giants, we prepare to follow these humans further into the trials, the dangers, and the triumphs that await in a world where survival means living in the shadows of dinosaurs. The world grows darker as the sun slips beneath the horizon, and the sky takes on the deep shades of violet and indigo. Stars begin to appear, scattered like distant fires above the tribe's camp. The fires burn low, sending smoke curling into the cool night air. Shadows dance across the ground, and the constant chorus of insects fills the silence between the low, rumbling calls of distant creatures. Sleep is uneasy here, yet it is essential. Families curl close together, children tucked safely in the center, while adults keep their spears nearby, their eyes never fully closing. For though the fires hold much at bay, they cannot stop everything that walks in the dark. A sudden rustle in the brush can send every heart pounding. Perhaps it is nothing more than a small animal, or perhaps it is something else, eyes reflecting faintly in the firelight, a predator curious enough to draw near. The humans listen intently. Silence follows, heavy and pressing, and eventually the night's rhythms return. But sleep, once broken, comes only slowly. The people are learning, as all who survive must, that the darkness is never fully empty. It is alive, filled with unseen shapes, and the ever-present possibility of danger. With dawn comes a measure of relief. The world brightens, and with light comes a sense of safety. The tribe rises to begin another day, each person knowing that survival depends not only on skill, but on vigilance. Before setting out, they scan the horizon. The valley beyond the camp is dotted with movement. Far in the distance, colossal herbivores graze, their necks weaving through the treetops like living towers. Closer, a smaller herd drinks from the river, cautious but steady. The sight is strangely calming. Life is continuing, the great beasts following their paths as they always have. Humans, though small, share in this routine. This morning, a group sets out to gather food. They move carefully, each step deliberate, eyes watching for danger. The forest floor is thick with ferns, their fronds brushing against legs as the group moves deeper beneath the canopy. The air is warm and heavy, filled with the earthy smell of plants and the distant sound of creatures feeding. A branch cracks somewhere nearby, and every body stiffens. A pause, breath held. Then, through the trees, the broad shape of a stegosaurus passes slowly, its backplates glowing faintly in the morning light. It pays no attention to the humans, too intent on stripping leaves from low shrubs. The group remains still until the creature moves on, then continues, their hearts steadying, their minds filled with the reminder that they are never alone in this world. Gathering fruit from a grove of trees, they fill woven baskets, careful to leave enough behind. This is not just prudence, but necessity. Drawing attention to themselves by stripping an area bare might invite unwanted eyes. In the distance, a haunting cry rises, a sound sharp, layered, and unmistakably predatory. It carries through the forest, echoing in the air. The humans freeze, baskets in hand, listening. The cry fades, but its meaning is clear. Something hunts nearby. Quickly, silently, the group retreats, making their way back toward the camp. Their feet fall lightly on the forest floor, their eyes scanning constantly, every instinct alive. Back at the camp, relief washes over them as the fires come into view. The baskets are set down, and the fruit is shared. Children eat first, their laughter bringing a measure of normality to the otherwise tense morning. Yet everyone knows the predator's cry will not be forgotten. The forest is home not only to giants who graze peacefully, but to hunters who see humans as nothing more than prey. This knowledge lingers in every mind. Later that day, hunters prepare to leave camp, spears in hand, their bodies painted with ash and earth to mask their scent. They do not hunt the giants. Such creatures are far too dangerous and beyond their power. Instead, they seek smaller game, the animals that scurry beneath the ferns or take flight between the trees. Still, danger cannot be avoided. As they move deeper into the forest, signs of something larger become evident. Claw marks along the trunk of a tree, deep and unmistakable. The hunters exchange glances but press on, each step chosen with care. The forest itself feels alive. The cries of birds echo overhead. The rustle of unseen creatures moves through the brush. Then a sudden silence falls. The hunters stop, their ears straining. In the stillness, the sound of breathing, heavy, deliberate, reaches them. From between the trees, a shape emerges. It is sleek, muscular, eyes sharp and unblinking. A raptor, its body tense, head tilting as it studies the intruders in its domain. For a moment, no one moves. The hunters grip their spears tighter, knowing the danger before them. The raptor hisses, a low chilling sound, and then with a flick of its tail, it vanishes into the shadows. The hunters wait, hearts racing, every sense alert. Minutes pass like hours, but the predator does not return. Finally, with slow steps, they retreat, their hunt abandoned. Survival matters more than food. Back at camp, stories spread quickly. The raptor is spoken of in hushed tones, its presence a reminder of the thin line between life and death. The children listen with wide eyes, absorbing every word. To them, these tales are more than warnings. They are lessons in survival, woven into memory like the lines of a song. Each encounter adds to the collective knowledge of the tribe, shaping how they live, where they go, and how they protect one another. Communities in such a world would need to adapt constantly. Settlements could not remain too long in one place, for herds shift, predators prowl, and resources dwindle. Humans might choose high ground whenever possible, building simple barricades of wood and stone, not to stop the largest creatures, but to slow smaller ones. Watchers would be stationed to scan the horizon, their task vital, to see danger before it arrives. In this world, vigilance is not a choice, but a way of life. Children grow up learning to move quietly, to listen, to recognize the sounds of the creatures around them. A low rumble in the distance means herbivores are near, perhaps safe for now. A sharp, shrill cry means predators, and silence itself can be a warning, for it often comes just before danger. These lessons are absorbed young, as natural to them as learning to walk or to speak. To survive among dinosaurs is to be constantly aware, to live in rhythm with the vast life that surrounds you. Food, water, shelter, fire, every element of life takes on new weight here. Each is a battle, each a triumph. But within this struggle, there is also resilience. Humans adapt, just as they always have. They find ways to protect their families, to feed their children, to carve out a fragile existence in a world not built for them. And though they are small, though they are vulnerable, they endure. As the day closes once more, the fires are lit, the tribe gathers close, and voices rise again in story. Tales of the raptor are retold, each word a reminder, each phrase a piece of guidance for the future. Around them, the night presses in, alive with sound and shadow. And though fear is present, so too is a quiet strength. For humans, fragile as they may seem, have always carried within them the will to survive. And here, among the giants of another age, that will burns brighter than ever. The stars above shine faintly through the smoke of the fires. Someone points upward, tracing patterns in the night sky, weaving myths that blend the beasts of earth with the lights of the heavens. A child listens, wide-eyed, as an elder describes how the plates of the Stegosaurus mirror the stars themselves, a reflection of earth and sky bound together. The child drifts to sleep, lulled by the voice, comforted by the glow of fire, even as the roars of distant predators roll across the land. And so the cycle continues, day into night, night into day, survival into story, story into memory. Each step in this world brings danger, but also wonder. Each moment is fragile, but filled with meaning. And as humans walk this path beside the titans of another age, they find not only struggle, but also a profound connection to the living world around them. A reminder that life, in all its vastness, is shared. As the days stretch into weeks, the tribe begins to understand that their survival depends not only on caution, but on cooperation. Alone, a single human is fragile, a mere flicker against the enormity of this world. Together, however, they form something greater, a community bound by shared struggle and shared resilience. In the mornings, tasks are divided. Some gather wood to feed the fires, others search for fruits and roots, while the strongest prepare to hunt. Children learn by watching, mimicking the careful steps of their parents, absorbing the rhythms of survival as naturally as breathing. The land itself becomes their teacher. They learn where certain creatures feed, when herds migrate, and which paths are safest. A clearing may be filled with fruit-bearing trees, but it is also known as a place where predators stalk. The tribe marks it with symbols carved into bark, warnings for those who come later. In time, these marks become part of their language, a way to pass knowledge not only through words, but through signs left in the world itself. Each symbol tells a story: danger, safety, food, water. Slowly, an invisible map forms across the land, created not on paper, but in memory and markings, guiding the people as they move through the realm of giants. Predators remain the greatest threat. Raptors are feared not only for their speed and claws, but for their intelligence. They hunt in silence, with coordination that rivals the humans themselves. One evening, as the fires burn low, watchers see movement at the edge of the trees. Eyes glint in the darkness, shifting back and forth. The alarm is raised, spears clutched tightly. The tribe forms a circle, backs to the firelight, hearts pounding. For long minutes, the eyes remain, unblinking, watching. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, they vanish into the night. The humans do not relax. They know the predators are patient. They know they will return. In response, the tribe adapts. They begin building barriers not only of wood, but of stone, stacking rocks and crude walls. Fires are placed at multiple points, their light stretching further into the dark. The people understand that no wall will stop a determined predator, yet even the illusion of strength buys them precious moments. Every second counts when survival is measured against teeth and claw. And in this careful preparation, humanity shows its greatest gift: foresight. The ability to plan for dangers not yet seen, to shape the world just slightly in their favor. By day, life continues with its quiet beauty. Herds move slowly through the valleys, their presence both terrifying and mesmerizing. A group of humans might watch from the safety of a cliff as a brachiosaurus lowers its head to strip leaves from a tree, its movements unhurried, each step shaking the earth. The sight fills them with awe, reminding them that they share the land with beings of incomprehensible scale. To see such creatures every day is to live in constant wonder, Even as fear shadows every step, food remains a challenge. While fruits and roots provide sustenance, meat is harder to obtain. Small game is scarce, and predators claim much of what is available. In time, the humans devise traps, pits dug into the ground, snares woven from vines. These are placed carefully along animal trails, checked each morning. Success is rare, but when it comes, it is celebrated. A captured animal means not only food, but survival. Fires burn bright, the scent of cooking filling the air, laughter rising despite the dangers that surround them. For in moments of plenty, joy emerges, fragile but real. Water, too, is treated with reverence. Approaching rivers and lakes is never done carelessly. Large creatures gather there, their size making them dangerous even when uninterested. Crocodilian beasts lurk beneath the surface, their eyes barely breaking the water, waiting for the unsuspecting. To fetch water is to face risk, and so it is often done in groups, one watching while another fills the vessels. Every task, no matter how small, becomes a test of courage and patience. Survival here is not a single great act, but 1,000 small ones repeated each day. One afternoon, while scouting for new shelter, a group of humans encounters something remarkable, a nesting ground. Enormous eggs lie half buried in the sand, their shells pale and faintly cracked. The people approach cautiously, wonder etched into their faces. Each egg is larger than a human head, warm to the touch, filled with life waiting to emerge. The group does not linger, for they know the parents cannot be far. Yet the sight leaves an impression. Around the fire that night, the story spreads. Children imagine tiny dinosaurs hatching, growing into the giants that roam their world. Some wonder if such creatures could ever be tamed, raised from youth to live alongside humans. The idea is no more than a dream, but in it lies the spark of imagination, the same spark that drives humanity to innovate and adapt. Danger, however, is never far. The following week, while foraging, a young boy wanders too far from the group. The silence that follows is broken by a cry, sharp and terrified. The others rush toward the sound, but it is too late. A predator has struck. Grief sweeps through the camp, heavy and suffocating. That night, the fires burn brighter than ever, as if to ward off not only the creatures of the dark, but the despair that clings to the living. Loss is part of life in this world, but it does not weaken them. Instead, it strengthens their resolve. They remember the boy in stories, his name spoken softly, his fate a lesson carved into memory. Never wander alone. The seasons shift, bringing new challenges. Rains flood the valleys, turning rivers into torrents. Herds migrate to higher ground, and the humans follow, their shelters dismantled and rebuilt again and again. Mud clings to their feet, storms tear at their shelters, yet still they endure. In the dry season, the land cracks, and water grows scarce. Fires burn lower, food dwindles, but they press on. Every change in the environment brings struggle, yet within it lies opportunity. Where rivers shrink, fish can be caught more easily. Where storms fell trees, new shelters can be built. Even in hardship, humans find ways to survive. Over time, the people begin to see patterns. They notice that certain predators follow the herds, stalking them from a distance. By tracking the movements of herbivores, they can predict danger. They learn which cries signal a fight between beasts, which calls mark the approach of a storm, which silences mean a hunter waits in the shadows. Knowledge becomes their greatest weapon, passed from elder to child, from generation to generation. Each lesson learned is another thread in the fabric of survival. As night falls once again, the tribe gathers around the fire. The air is cool, the stars bright above. An elder begins to speak, their voice steady, carrying across the circle. They tell of the first time the tribe encountered the great beasts, of the fear that filled them, of the awe that has never left. They speak of loss, of resilience, of the will to endure even in the shadow of giants. The children listen, their eyes wide. their minds painting vivid images of the world they know so well. The fire crackles, the night hums with life, and for a moment there is peace. Yet always, in the distance, the roars of predators remind them that peace is fragile. Survival is never guaranteed, but humans, small though they are, carry something within them that no beast can match: the ability to imagine, to prepare, to adapt. And as long as that spark remains, they will continue to walk this world, fragile but unbroken, side by side, with the titans of another age. Generations pass, and with each one, humanity becomes more deeply woven into the fabric of this ancient world. The relationship between people and dinosaurs shifts from one of constant fear to one of wary coexistence. Children grow up no longer wide-eyed with terror at the sight of a towering sauropod, but with a sense of respect and familiarity. They learn early which paths to avoid, which calls signal danger, and how to read the earth for signs of recent movement. Knowledge, hard-earned through trial and sacrifice, becomes their inheritance. Around the fires, the stories of survival evolve into legends. The boy lost to the predator becomes a cautionary tale told to every child who dares wander from the group. The discovery of the nesting ground becomes myth, whispered with awe, as if the eggs held not only life, but mystery beyond comprehension. Elders speak of the first fires that kept the hunters at bay, of the first shelters that stood against the rains, of the first traps that brought meat when hunger threatened to break them. Each tale is both history and lesson, a way to carry the past into the uncertain future. The humans are not alone in their evolution. The creatures, too, adapt to this strange coexistence. Predators learn to circle wide around the flicker of fire, wary of the spears that wait within the light. Herbivores, once startled by human presence, begin to accept it in small measure, continuing their grazing so long as the distance is respected. Over time, some even become familiar sights near the camp, their sheer size acting as accidental guardians. A towering herbivore feeding nearby might dissuade a predator from approaching, giving the humans a measure of security they could never have created on their own. Hunting grows more sophisticated. Spears are crafted with sharper points, hardened in fire. Stones are shaped into blades, tied to wooden shafts with vines and sinew. Traps become more complex, using not just pits, but weighted logs and hidden snares. A successful hunt is no longer pure chance, but a carefully planned effort, guided by knowledge of the creature's habits. Even so, danger lingers in every hunt. A misstep, a sudden shift in the wind, a cry too loud. Any of these could mean death. And yet the humans persist, because to stop would mean hunger, and hunger is a slower but no less certain death. As communities grow, they begin to spread outward, seeking new lands to inhabit. Each new valley or plain holds both promise and peril. Some are rich with fruit trees and clear streams, but home to predators that watch with cold patience. Others are barren, the soil cracked and dry, forcing the people to move on. The search for safer ground is endless, but it is also what binds humanity together. They move not as scattered individuals, but as tribes, united by blood, by necessity, by the shared knowledge that their survival depends on one another. With growth comes curiosity. Children watch the skies, pointing at the shadows of pterosaurs gliding overhead. Their wings stretch wide against the sun, casting fleeting darkness across the land. The children ask if the sky creatures might one day descend, if their wings could carry a person into the air. The elders smile at such questions, but the idea lingers, sparking dreams that reach beyond mere survival. Even in a world ruled by titans, the human mind stretches toward possibility, toward what might be, rather than only what is. Conflicts arise, not only with nature, but within the tribes themselves. Disagreements over food, territory, or leadership simmer into tension. Some tribes choose to join together, forming larger groups with shared resources. Others split apart, unable to reconcile their differences. When groups meet, the encounters are uncertain, sometimes peaceful, with trade of tools or food, sometimes violent, as competition drives desperation. The land is vast, yet survival makes it feel small, every resource a potential spark for conflict. Despite the hardships, a quiet rhythm emerges. Days are filled with work, gathering, building, guarding, teaching. Nights are filled with stories, with the glow of fire and the steady beat of drums made from stretched hides. Music becomes a way to soothe fear, to mark time, to remind each person that they are part of something larger than themselves. Songs rise into the night, blending with the distant cries of creatures, as if humanity's voice insists on being heard, even against the roar of giants. Seasons continue to shape life. During the rains, rivers swell and camps must be moved to higher ground. During the dry times, water is precious, carried carefully in hollowed gourds, guarded as fiercely as fire. The cycles become familiar, a calendar not of written numbers, but of lived experience. Children learn to count their years by the great migrations of the herds, by the blooming and withering of certain plants, by the return of storms that split the sky with light. Time is measured not in months or days, but in the eternal rhythms of the earth itself. As the humans carve their place into this world, they also begin to wonder about their role in it. Some whisper that the giants are guardians, others that they are punishments. Questions arise. Why are they here, so small among so many titans? What does survival mean if death is always near? Around the fires, these questions are spoken not as answers, but as mysteries. The people do not seek to dominate the land, for such an idea is unthinkable when every step reminds them of their fragility. Instead, they seek only balance, to live another day in a world that is both beautiful and terrifying. And yet, beneath this humility lies ambition, the same spark that imagines taming a hatchling or flying with the pterosaurs burns brighter with each generation. The humans know they are fragile, yet they also sense something powerful within themselves. A quiet belief grows that perhaps in time their minds will allow them to shape the world as no beast ever could. That even among dinosaurs it is thought, not tooth or claw, that will endure. For now, though, survival is enough. The fires still burn, the shelters still stand, the people still walk the valleys and hills. Their footprints mingle with those of giants, fleetings against the stone, yet deeply significant in their persistence. In a land where danger lurks in every shadow, humanity continues forward, one step, one story, one heartbeat at a time, carving its fragile path through the age of dinosaurs.